with the rocket science and mainly the propulsions. So, welcome to all of you. So, today we're gonna talk about the Newton's second law. So, in the last video, what I have discussed regarding the basically what are the principles of Newton. So, based on that which is related uh, in the rocket propulsion. So, same. So, continuation of that. Basically, if you wanna see, so basically in the rocket propulsion, for the forces means like how that rocket is used to move, that is totally depends upon the Newton's second law, and that is because the fundamental principles of behind the rocket movement, as I told you in the last video, like uh, due to the here the nozzle is placed, and due to the nozzle, what is happening over here? The exhaust mass that is m dot is coming at very high velocity from the exhaust of the nozzle. So what will happen if that mass is coming with a mass m, whereas which molecule which has a velocity v. So of course there is a huge change in the momentum from this position to this position. Although the mass is constant, but in the terms of the velocity, there is a huge increment in the velocity just after the nozzle, and because of these changes what will happen, momentum changes there, so which is called which because if it is in instant unit time, so of course there is a force, and because of that force the rocket is moving forward direction, because every action has equal and opposite reaction. So by continuation of that means by mm, taking the account of that Newton's first law, and whatever the force which is coming out from the nozzle due to the Newton's second law, so rocket is generally move to in forward direction. So of course, when the rocket is going to be moved, of course, because it's moving in the atmosphere. So if it is moving, only if it is moving in the atmosphere, so there will be a drag force. So in if you will go in my first video, so there I have discussed like uh, what are all the means like how the drag force is acting over there. So that I will try to make a kind of the short what we can say reels kind of the thing. So from that you will come to know, like you try to keep following the this channel, so you will get means how that air molecules generated drag. So in this short video you will see that things. So mostly by this week I will try to upload that as well. So now the rocket has a few parts as I have discussed. These are the payloads. So basically payloads contents like warhead, means like satellites and all, and this is basically the guidance. So basically sometimes happen, what is happen, guidance means sometimes happen rocket goes may miss the trajectory. So this is the kind of the fuels. Basically here is also a kind of the combustor. So based on that what will happen, we are trying to eject a exhaust burned gas from this agent. So these regions actually it also keep this kind of the trajectory apart from the fins and these studs and bar, and these over there the forces which is acted due to the exhaust velocity, which also makes the rocket in the right direction. So these are all the conjugations. So component, as you can see, like this from top to bottom, it's called frame, and the mass of the frame is of course total m dot, which contain about payloads, guidance, fuel, oxidizer, the all the propulsive devices like combustor, their pipelines to supply these fuels and oxidizer into the combustion chamber, this stud. So all these called as a m dot. When we are talking about the mass ratio, so mass ratio is generally like here we are just talking about the means like we have to know first what are all the propellant mass. So propellant means it's not just only fuel. Whenever we gonna talk about the propellant, it's a combination of fuel and oxidizer. It's not a fuel, it's a fuel and oxidizer. And when propellant is gonna burn, when we are going to give a certain amount of energy, because each propellant has their a specific heat requirement to burn the propellant. So when we are gonna supply that heat, because of that, means because of that heat, the propellant goes to burn inside the combustion chamber. Okay, so these are all things for the rocket propulsion. And once that fuel is gonna burn, which is coming very high velocity because of this nozzle. So as you can see, this is the shape of the nozzle. So it's coming at a very high velocity because of the nozzle. So these are the entire concept of the rocket, and this is the of that one. The payloads, as I have discussed, basically people used to see it like our scientists or something like that, satellites, warhead. Basically, these warheads, fireworks. The fireworks is kind of the for the festival, but bar warhead kind of the things like we used to put kind of the bomb or something like that for the destroying kind of the thing. So basically, these two are kind of the constructive, where these two are a kind of the things is a destructive kind, destructive category. So from this also you can we can come, we should know means like each in the science, each science can destroy as well as it can means like it can uplift the humanity. So it depends also like who is using the science. So this is the most challenging nowadays for the thing. So with now I'm going to talk about the frame. So this is the frame. So that I have discussed in the last video as well. This is the delta. So basically fireworks, and this is the model rocket. So this is a kind of the testing purpose. So at initial level, suppose we have some, and why we are doing for the model rocket, because some suppose we have developed some new fuel or new propellant. So for the testing, instead of going this much big rocket, we can have a kind of the small testing, and we can perform like how much thrust, how what is the endurance of that thing. So these things we gonna measure over there. So ये सारे चीज होते हैं मतलब रॉकेट्स में. सो बेसिकली हमने पहले बताया था, ये जनरली बेसिकली आप जो भी कोई भी रॉकेट आप जब देखोगे, वट एवर द रॉकेट यू विल सी, द थिंग इज लाइक यू विल सी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ट्यूब, नोज और फिन्स. मीन्स तो रॉकेट का जो इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर होता है वो बेसिकली सिलेंडर का फॉर्म में ही होता है. ठीक है. So these are the things over there. So basically, agar sometimes what will happen, instead of this combusting, means what we are doing, we are putting a high, means like we are using a high pressurized cylinder, and from this pressurized cylinder we used to supply this kind of the uh, high pressure over here. So because of that pressure, rocket used to go out above the sky. So now here the concept can come, where that second law of Newton is working over here. So of course here it's not working on the Newton's second law, but the thing is like here totally the Newton third law is only working. Because why it's working? Because here nothing is gonna come out from the rock, means like exhaust mass is not coming out from the rocket, it is just going. Why? Because you have supplied initial momentum. So because of that initial momentum, rocket used to fly. So this generally, this is also kind of the one testing. Basically there we gonna what we you gonna test, you gonna test with the structure, that how the rocket move in the sky. This is also kind of the research purpose. So also lunar concept is going on in future, means like from here we will set a device, and we will have this kind of the thruster. Basically we can say like thruster, so which can apply the force in that much efficient, which can by which we can get the escape velocity, so we can come out the earth gravity. So these are the concepts. So in the last also we have discussed. So these are the parachutes, long sake. So this is basically the to save, so that the oxidizer and fuel should not get mixed with each other, and to cover this case so that extra drag should not happen. So we are generally it is preferred to put the nose casing in the nose cone kind of the thing, so that we will, the rocket will not generate extra drag. So now afterwards we will talk about the Rocket propulsion basically solid rocket engine and liquid rocket engine. So in both the cases, the combustion is taking. So basically, as I told you, like whenever the combustion is taking place, there should be fuel and oxygen or oxidizer instead of oxidizer, because oxygen is also a one type of the oxidizer. So fuel and oxidizer is required for the burning, and combination of these two always we used to say propellant. So when we going, we are applying a certain amount of heat. So this is a kind of the heat when we are supplying. So all the three get mixed, then only the combustion phenomena is gonna affect. So by virtue of that, once the combustion get started, by virtue of that, what will happen? High amount of heat gonna produce, and that whatever the mass is m dot is there, that is coming out from the rocket as a exhaust, and that is causing a momentum, that m dot v. So that whatever the m dot is over here, so that will come as exhaust and create the momentum. And b, because of the shape of the nozzle, you are getting the velocity. So these are the concept, and later on about details, we will talk about the liquid rocket and solid rocket in the next video. So with that, thank you. Good night.